We are back with another episode of Wrapped. This month we take on November. Let's get to it. So there's no real need for introduction. You already know what it is. We're here for Wrapped. I have my co-host Aaron from Poor over Finance. Almost said Aaron the Great. Oh, go the Great. Take you back.
To any of that works.
Yeah. Easter egg. If you knew what we're talking about.
For sure.
My name is K Styles. I realize I never introduced myself. I just assume everybody knows who I am. But
as they should.
Yeah, just what I'm saying. You know, maybe I'm feeling myself. But either way, we are here to talk about November. Now, November on the low key was like full of randomness. But on a fun note, you went to Japan. So, talk about that for a little bit. Because that, before we get into the craziness, we like to celebrate, people exploring the world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anyone that has not visited that place probably should. One of the things that stood out to me the most is just the fact that it's extremely clean. The people are cordial. What I walk away from as specifically Tokyo, thinking to myself like, wow, this is what happens when you're living in a place where the government actually respects your money and takes your taxes and puts it back into their own economy as opposed to spreading it all over the world. But very clean. Food was very affordable, very, very affordable compared to here in the U.S. Now, I don't know how that stacks up against the pay wages in Japan, but I'll tell you right now, just things like having a bowl of ramen there was the equivalent of about $7 or $8 here in the United States. I can't get a bowl of ramen like that I was getting in Japan for that kind of money. There was a time when my wife and I went to have sushi, and I can't tell you how much sake we drank, how much sushi we ate, and our bill was only $58. And because they're not burdened by a tip culture there, your bill is your bill. It was so pleasant. And just moving around to different areas, it really is one of the best places that I've ever visited, if not the best. And anyone that has the time and the resources in terms of finances to one day visit that place, my stamp of approval is 100% on 100% stamping Japan as a place that I consider to be a must-see.
Listen, with all that glowing review, I need like the tourism board in Japan to like have us come and do an episode there, because this man,
nice.
That was a glowing review. That is stamped glowing review. But
and it was better than that. It was just, my words cannot begin to fully describe how beautiful of a place Japan is. I loved it.
That's what's up. Well, kind of hard to go from that glowing review to the debauchery that's been happening in the United States, formerly around the guy named Brother Love, P. Diddy, the D, the I, the D, the D-Y, some shit like that, It's such
Calling
a weird
yourself
thing.
Brother Love with this kind of allegation is nasty work, man.
Bro. It's just, what's crazy? And we were thinking about it, and it might actually show up in our end of year review. But we have talked about Diddy at least 4 times this year in different ways. We talked about his returning the
Masters.
The Masters.
Yeah.
We talked about him. I think in the last one we talked about him donating money to.
Oh yeah, so one of the HBCUs,
yes.
He gave a massive like $1 million donation. Yeah.
And I think he was trying to buy some goodwill, because what the hell is going on? So if you're not aware of what we're talking about. The dude formerly known as Puff Daddy, he had a case that came out about, it sounds like abuse and rape and all kind of random. It's multiple cases. I think he's up to 4 now. And
modern day Genghis Khan.
Dog, I don't understand. I mean, it's just like, we knew what you were doing to like people's money, but like you doing it to people too. God damn, like, sheesh.
He's raping more than pockets, huh?
Apparently. So it sounds like we're not making light of this because this is really crazy.
No,
It's more just the sheer shock of the fact that this dude was out there, as Aaron says, with this nasty work, bro. Like, it's just, I just don't understand. So, I mean, we had the first case with Cassie. Mm-hmm. Then there was another case that said that some woman accused him and Aaron Hall of gang raping her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? And
the amount of things that are coming as of the result of it, because I just recently saw that there was a school that is now disassociating any ties with him. He stepped down from Revolt. My understanding is Macy's pulled out of the Sean John deal. But it's almost like what happened to Kanye when he mentioned the whole, going DEFCON 5 or whatever.
Yeah. It is interesting to watch it get unraveled. And I do think that, like, people have had strong feelings one way or another about Diddy.
Me being one of them.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. But it's weird to watch just, like, how many of these stories are coming out of people you would, like, I would personally look up to, right? Like, as someone who started in music, Diddy and Biggie, like, these guys are the ones that you saw, like, wanting to emulate. And then it turns out, this dude is a whole ass asshole, bro. Like, it's it's crazy to think, and it's unfortunate. And it's like, if they say if Jay-Z's in the next one on the list for some crazy, like, I would be. It's like, at that point, what else do you do? Like, I don't know.
And then,
what are your thoughts?
We've lost so much of our. How can I put this? We've lost a lot of our heroes here in New York. So to see the ones that actually are alive going down, burning like this. Because forgive me if I'm incorrect, but isn't what's his name, the president, that dude that used to be the president of Def Jam, and
Russ Simmons?
Yeah, was he New York as well?
Yeah,
and now he's out somewhere in Bali hiding or whatever it is, because he's got all kinds of stuff against him too. But yeah, I mean, just to listen and watch all of this stuff unravel in real time is just it's disappointing. Because regardless of how I might have felt about Diddy, I didn't think that he had this level of stuff going on. Yeah. And to hear it happen, and I didn't even get too much into reading any of the paperwork that was put out there, but I did see bits and pieces of what he was being accused of doing. And if there's even any small staunch of truth from what I've been seeing, he is a nasty dude, man. Like, I mean, he's on another level, like almost like anti-human nasty. Like, I don't even know how you, as a man that was, I think he was married at one time, right? Was Kim his wife?
I think so.
And has children. How you could even do some of these things to humans is just beyond me. And then all these interviews are coming out where it's like, oh, Usher used to sleep in the same bed with him. And they showed this video of an interview where Usher was on with Howard Stern. And Howard Stern is like, would you ever let your son hang with Diddy like you did? And Usher is like, hell no. There's the rumors that Usher has herpes and he got it from Diddy. It's just like, it's just I don't know. It's just so bad. Watching it all happen in real time is entertaining, but at the end of this, there are people's lives who are falling apart in real time. His lives, I'm sure this is hurting his family, his children, and then there's the other side of this which is the victims. It's just, there's nothing to be celebrated here. This is just absolutely disgusting. Personally, I hope, if there is any truth to it, that justice is being served. But it seems to me like all the victims just want a payday. They're not really looking for actual justice. So if that's the type of justice that they're looking for, I guess so be it. And I can't wait to not hear this anymore, because I don't know, to me, it's just also such a bad reflection on black men as a whole. even though I
man.
know we're not a monolith and all of that stuff. It's just, I'm just tired of seeing bad news associated with men of color.
Yeah, and it's been coming. Will Smith, freaking like I'm just like, oh my goodness, like can't
And
catch
that's
a
why we
break.
try to do black excellence here, but there's more nasty work than excellence for some reason.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like that is our solemn pledge for 2024. We will find good examples of black excellence because it's like. Like we gave Diddy black excellence last month,
Now
only
we gotta
to find
strip it.
now we only to find out we got to take it back. It's ridiculous. It's just like, oh my god. I mean,
oh man, we can't have the in-crowd logo stamped on that kind of behavior.
This sounds like the Dave Chappelle joke about Bill Cosby. He's like, he rapes, but he saves. It's like, it's such a horrible thing, but this is he's literally reliving that exact thing. It's just ridiculous.
Funny how that is true.
Dave Chappelle's a genius. I would say that. He's
100%.
His ability to put stuff together, it's just amazing. So, I don't know if we need to talk anything else about this. I mean, do you don't want to talk about how because you've been a criticizer of Diddy for a long time. So
yeah, and that has nothing to do with this sexual stuff.
We didn't even know. We didn't know about that.
I did not. Even though there's always been somewhat rumors, I always took it as just rumors, because the truth of the matter is that if you are rich and you're in the public eye, something is going to be said about you that is not complimentary. So, these
Facts.
types of things you kind of expect. But my whole problem with him was just he appeared to have somewhat of a God complex. He seems, he does. From everything I've seen, this man thinks that he is better than most people. And I don't know if it's a power thing, but he exudes that. It's like, this is who I am, and you need to bow. It's coming off of him. It's like someone who's eaten bad garlic and it's just wafting from their skin. It's just, I could see that. So I've always felt that way about him. And then there's the news with what he's done to his artists, whether it be Mace, whether it be the Locks, whether it be Danity Kane. There's just a lot of bad press associated with how he was treating his artists when it came to the financial side of things. And that's why we even spoke on it when they got their publishing back. And even then, even though I found it was commendable, I still said that he waited until he bled it dry before he fed it back to them. So I still was not in favor of him. But this situation, this is a whole other bag of cherries, man.
100%. And I honestly, I think I said this a little bit at the beginning. I really feel like he was trying to buy some favor because all the things that he was doing just randomly started like a year ago to now. And it's like the timing is just really odd because it's like you put out a bunch of positive stories and then this bombshell drops and it felt like it was intentional attempt at manipulating their reputation before it, like this actually came out. So,
that might be true because they said that she was trying to get this money from him for a minute, and her threats of putting it out public was going to be the last ditch. And apparently he was not having it, and she put it out publicly. So what you're saying might have quite a bit of validity to it, where he was like trying to buy public favor just in case this stuff came to light. But it was so bad. There was nothing he was going to be able to do short of saving Africa that was going to put him in a public light. Even if he did here in America, he was still going to get eaten alive. It was
100%.
Right now we live in a society that you have to be very, very careful when it comes to anything you say or do that involves women, and I would say the LGBTQ community. You mess with those two groups, you're done. So there's nothing he could have done or said that was going to save him from this.
Yeah, 100%. There was no amount of charity work that could clean that up, bro.
Yeah, no. He should have just settled this amicably before it became public. if he was that
But
concerned.
I mean, the thing about it is, as more stories come out, like once the internet picks up with it, they're just gonna find everything.
it.
But they were saying that like he potentially had something to do with his wife's death and stuff. I'm like,
I
all
heard
right,
that.
I don't want to go that far. I don't want like it's
Now you're
beyond
accusing the man of committing like murder.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I mean, I feel like if there's validity to that, hopefully that comes to light, and
God,
it's gonna be
I hope
hard.
not.
It'll be hard for him and his kids to like, because I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. That's the mother of your children. So if there is any truth to that,
I don't know, but either way, it's a bad day. But we're gonna start. I mean, I guess we're done here. We're done here. I don't know. We're
this
done
really
here.
is a bad one. You don't want
It's a bad-
to. You kind of just
listen,
gotta.
Well, now I'm trying to think of what's a good palate cleanser, but then I was like, should we just continue along the path? It's not all doom and gloom, but I definitely want to talk a little bit about the economic crisis that's going on, because Aaron hit me to a lot of stuff that I actually didn't realize was a thing. So, maybe he can drop some knowledge in all of us real quick.
Well, before I begin, I would like to know, what did I put you onto that you weren't aware of?
Just your understanding of what some of the things mean from a financial standpoint, and how they affect or potentially could affect our day-to-day lives, was something that I didn't really spend that much time thinking about. Also, just because I am on a strict, I don't want to hear too much news these days, because after 2020, and I know that was 3 years ago, but I watch every channel, I watch every news report. I was watching the White House briefing. I just want to live in a little bit of ambiguity, right? Ambiguity. Yeah, I literally just want to be not aware of certain things, and it's not possible with the internet, but still. So
It's funny you say that, because every year I do a bit of a cleansing, if you want to call it that. And I always start right before the end of the year, because I want to take the end of the year and move into the beginning of the year just clean. I even had a friend that at the beginning of the year, he wants to go to this place, and this place is known for cheap liquor and fried food. I mean, the food is terrible, and I have not responded to him yet, but my response is going to be, count me out, because he's trying to go on the 6th of January. I'm not starting my year with cheap liquor and fried food. You know what I mean? I need to do better than that. So
I hope he doesn't watch the podcast, because you're just having.
If he does, then he just found out, because the way I delivered it here is exactly the way that I'm going to deliver it, if not even worse, because I'm very, very to the point with my people. It's not offensive. I'm not coming across as being rude or anything like that, but it's just yo, this is why, and this is what I'm doing. All right. So that being said, there's a lot that's going on in the financial world, and I think there's not enough time in the segment to cover all the stuff that's going on, because we've got all these major fund managers like BlackRock and Fidelity and Grayscale that are all right now. We're waiting to hear whether or not the SEC approves a Bitcoin ETF. And if that were to be approved, that would mean the average Joe would now be able to invest in Bitcoin in their 401ks, their retirement plans, whatever it is, without having to actually buy and self-custody Bitcoin. And when I say self-custody, it's funny, I have one of them right here with me. This is a crypto wallet. So unless you keep your money on an exchange, this is really the only other way to hold on to your cryptocurrencies. And if you guys are aware of what's going on with cryptocurrency, we just watched an entire exchange collapse last year when FTX went down in flames. It was one of the biggest news articles of the year, still is to this day. So BlackRock and all these other fund managers would be buying Bitcoin on behalf of its investors, and they would be custodying it through Coinbase. So if that were to happen in January, there's going to be potentially a huge run up on Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin goes into its halving, which is supposed to happen in April of 2024, which usually marks the beginning of a bull run, we could see major things happening. There's a lot of speculation out there that this run, we could see Bitcoin go as high as 250 to 500K per Bitcoin. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. But the reason why that speculation exists is because these fund managers, we're talking about like BlackRock, for instance, which I believe has like trillions of dollars under management. So even if 1% of what they are managing comes into Bitcoin, we're talking potential billions. And that's just one asset manager. So, you know, we will have to wait to see what's going on there. Outside of that, the traditional finance world, the markets are up, the markets are down, but one of the main talking points here is that we are seeing inflation coming down, which is a good thing. But the bad thing is that major asset prices seem to not be moving in terms of real estate, not moving. We're not seeing movement happen in terms of car prices. So there's a lot of fear as to what would happen if the Federal Reserve starts to back off of raising interest rates and even starts to reduce interest rates. What's going to happen to asset prices and just inflation as a whole? Will we spike right back up and go right back to where we were? We're in a really odd position. So these are some things that are kind of looming, and we're going to see what happens in 2024 when things really go over the top. Oh, also one bit of good news, the $600 PayPal, Venmo whole thing where, you know, the government was requiring that you have to show that on your taxes. That will not begin until tax year 2023. So, you know, it'll be your earnings from 2023, 2024. So you don't have to, I think for 2022, you don't have that problem when you're doing, you know, your taxes or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of it. But there's going to be so much more happening, and as there's so much bubbling right now that it's only a matter of time.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot, right? Like, that's a whole lot.
Yeah,
like, even
the
Bitcoin thing, which, you know, is so fascinating because people, it's very, I'm losing the word, but essentially it's very polarizing, right? Like, people either believe in it and think it's the future, or some people hate it because it's unregulated. So to even have that being something that is moving into that realm, that's like legitimacy at the highest order. So,
and that's just Bitcoin. There's not a lot of cryptocurrencies that you're going to see that kind of thing happen with. There's also a potential spot Ethereum ETF that could get approved. BlackRock just filed for it. So we'll have to wait to see. But trust me, the regulation thing is going to cause a lot of problems in the coming year or two. I'll tell you, if the next bull run things work out, I'll possibly be getting out of crypto 100% until...
Really?
Yeah, until there's regulatory clarity. Not right now, but I'm saying when the run happens, I may consider selling off all of my holdings and then waiting to see what the regulatory bodies do, because it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster having money invested into an asset where it's like it's up, it's down, the government is banning this, the government is doing that. Like it's getting out of control. There is an exchange that goes by the name of Bybit, which was not supposed to legally allow US citizens to trade on their platform, but they did. And now I'm hearing that if you did trade on that Bybit platform, the government is now going to Coinbase and they want to see records of anyone that transacted or interacted with addresses from Bybit, because, of course, that means the U.S. government is going to come at you financially. And if you didn't expose all of your winnings on your taxes, who knows what that's going to do. Also, because because American citizens weren't supposed to be interacting with this platform, does that mean that they're going to be coming at individuals? It's hard to say. Right now, it's too much of a wild west in crypto with what's going on with the government. I don't think it's really, at least for people who don't have a high appetite for risk, I don't think it's a place you should be putting any of your funds unless you have a high risk appetite and you're willing to watch every single dollar you've invested potentially show up with a zero. If you're okay with that, then go for it.
I feel like the risk part is even crazier because, like, if you think about FTX, everybody they had investors, they had stadiums, they had all of this stuff, and for it to funnel and disappear in like 2 seconds, like that's also a huge risk. I mean, that could happen in money too, right? Like it happened to with Madoff, and it's not the first time and not the last time, but it is crazy to think that could happen. But I'm very intrigued. Maybe we do an update in February where we talk about this because see if it went. Yeah,
absolutely. The wrapped in January. By then, we'll find out if they got approved or denied. We'll talk about it.
Wonderful. All right. So moving along to this one was an interesting one that I also didn't know much about. But apparently, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens are supposed to be going head to head, which is the equivalent of two rabid dogs going at it. That's messed up. I shouldn't do that. But no, like it's like if you think about, their party, they are two of the most outspoken people in that section of the media. So I'm intrigued to see what they're going to go up against because they seem to normally always have aligning topics. So
And my understanding is it all kind of started with the Yeezy thing, where he was like, I'm gonna go DEFCON 5, and Ben Shapiro is of Jewish origin, and Candace and Yeezy, they're friends, and apparently the way that she spoke about that situation was not too much in Ben's favor because, of course, it sounds like it's an anti-Semite kind of thing. And now the whole Palestine and Israel battle that's taking place, that whole war, the way that she's been speaking, he's not taking light to it either. And he said that it actually looked like he was being recorded with someone's phone. And it was like at either the beginning or the end of an actual seminar that he was having. And someone just asked him about Candace Owens. And he said that what she's been saying is extremely unprofessional. And it led to her making a tweet that basically was in a way saying that her job and her ideals are fighting. It's almost as if, because of her job, she feels one way, but then because of her own ideals, she feels another way. And it was almost like a biblical quote that she had. And basically, Ben Shapiro took it as, hey, if what you do here at Daily Wire and your own personal morals and ideals are coming it's a bit of a conflict because of where you work, then by all means quit. And it's just a mess. It's just a mess. It's actually kind of interesting to see two of the most outspoken right-wing media talking heads go head to head publicly. I'm never a fan of this public stuff. Everyone seems to go to Twitter and video rather than take this offline and sit down and have a conversation, but it's playing out live and it's one of the biggest stories of the month of November.
I'm intrigued, and I'll tell you for one reason. I can stomach Ben Shapiro. He's a little bit of a tightwad. Like he's
funny how that works.
Yeah, but Candace Owens and I have an issue. She don't know me. I don't know her, but like her points and stuff seems like it's always inflammatory and always done to garner a certain visceral response. And whether she feels that way or not, I don't know. But like a lot of the stuff she says irritates me in a way because I feel like she spends her time like just trashing black men. And I think Black. I would say black men.
You would
say black people?
As a whole, she just seems anti-black because she gives it to women of color just the same. You know, like I don't know. She goes hard at Cardi.
And my thing is that I feel like at the core, like I take it from my own personal feeling that it feels like a personal attack a lot of times listening to her. Whereas Ben Shapiro is just like, and somebody's going to say, oh, you're choosing the white man over the black woman. And it's like, both of them don't like me. So we're all good. No, that's messed up. I don't know that, allegedly. But it is interesting to see. I actually would watch that. I would love to see people on other sides of the aisle do this too. Like, really? Especially I think it'd be great. I think honestly, we realize that in discourse, we have a lot more in common with the people that we are, have opposite ideals with. And you realize that we all technically live somewhere in the middle. But because we only really focus on one point at a time, we don't really focus on the commonalities between us as human beings. Gotcha. So, I'll be intrigued to see. What happens.
Well, we will see. I don't know how this is going to play out, but it would be very interesting if all of a sudden we heard that Candace Owens is no longer part of Daily Wire. I'm like, wow.
Damn.
But I mean, she's one of those people that has such a powerful voice, and she is so out there that honestly, she doesn't need Daily Wire. She could literally start her own movement, and I think she would become bigger for it.
Yeah. I mean, look at Tucker Carlson.
Look at Tucker Carlson. He's doing his show exclusively on like X or something now, right?
Formerly Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing well. I've seen a couple of his interviews leak out there. So yeah, there's some people whose voices are so strong and their presence is so powerful that if they were working for a media body and they left that media body, they would probably do better on their own than they would be working with that company.
Yeah, 100%. Either way, it's going to be interesting. But talking about head-to-head battles, this one is between Meg Thee Stallion and Pardie, is his name? I really don't know this. I don't know this guy. I
think he's a writer and a producer. And she was dating him, and now it's a complete mess. She had that Cobra's track where she made mention of him potentially, maybe getting some sloppy toppy on her bed or her side of the bed or whatever, and he heard that and he made his own track, and he's terrible as a rapper, but his writing, and that's one of the things that I think is a very much lost art when it comes to music. People either listen to what you're saying or they're listening to how you're saying it, but it's never the two combined or giving credit where it's due in certain areas. Like this guy writes for a lot of big artists. Some of your favorite songs probably credits him as a writer on there, and I think he did a good job in terms of the writing aspect of this song. Writing aside, terrible delivery, terrible cadence, everything was just bad, but he really took her out with that one. And just the fact that he said that this is for Meg the person, not Meg the Stallion, that was crazy, because he basically telling her heart is dirty. You were messing with dudes while this was going on. You had me fighting with dudes that you were like knocking down, like you got beats from this one dude and he was clapping your cheeks. Like, it's great. And then she even came out just recently and she put out an IG video where she was saying that people need to stop pretty much checking for who she's having sex with. She was like, have you guys heard my music? That's how I give it up. She's basically saying that she was throwing that thing around, and she said that she's actually turning a new leaf and she's going to be tight with the kitty. Her words.
Listen, Meg is in a space where she's living her extended hot girl summer, and I'm there for it for her. I support
there for it.
No, because listen, you know what? Think about it. She's in her mid-20s. In our mid-20s, we did a lot of questionable things. Yes or no?
I guess silence is deafening.
Okay, all right. So I want the same space for her to do her stuff.
You want her? I want better for her.
No. Listen, you know what? In order to get to where you are in this point in your life, you need to, as long as you're doing stuff safe and not getting shot at and stuff. Like if you get that part out of your, you know what I'm saying? Like as long as you get,
Clearly.
But listen, she's getting through that, and she said she's turning a new leaf. And who she's sleeping with is really irrelevant because no one ever asked Drake who's he sleeping with, right? Like so.
But she's putting it in the records.
So is Drake.
Is he putting it in the records?
Yeah, he's calling people by name.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
He's still talking about
does
Rihanna.
Drake get upset about it and get on live and start talking nonsense? Does Drake?
He probably does, but we don't check for.
If he's doing that, that's nasty. You cannot. You cannot put all your business out on Front Street, and then when you get backlash from it, get on the internet and get upset. You can't have it both ways.
Listen, I agree with that, but I just say I want for her to have her time being and enjoying this celebrity life, so that at some point when she wants to do something different, it's fine. That's my thought.
All right.
I don't know.
I mean, hey, she got to do what works for her, man.
She really does. So,
clearly this is not working, and that's why she's tightening it up.
It's not. But also, that dude's record was so terrible. Like, I don't really care what he has to say. That was bad. It was bad.
It had the effect it needed to have.
I guess if you wanted to just write, it is equivalent of a tell-all book in a record. That's literally what it felt like. It's just like no one ever says, "Oh, I'm gonna read this tell-all book and I'm gonna enjoy it because I like non-toxic interactions." No, it was just like I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen.
Maybe I'm still Team Meg. I don't know.
I'm Team Nobody. I don't care. Her music is not good.
Okay, not good. Oh wait, stop.
Not to me. Not to me.
Okay,
her
but
music is not good.
Not good compared to Pardie.
Pardie doesn't make music though,
and he should
writes.
Never again.
He writes and he produces, and he's good at that.
He should stick to that. Yeah,
and that's valid. But he attempted to do something that just didn't work out here. But what he's good at. Her music. If I never hear another Meg Thee Stallion song again, I'm good.
I just said Meg Thee Stallion. I would. And I don't, this is a very slippery slope, and I want to make sure I categorize it. But when it comes to female artists, I think Meg Thee Stallion is up there as one of the best from this new generation. And you can give me another person that you want to put in from this new generation.
From this new generation. So when you say new generation, what are we talking about? Like, as of 2020 or something? Or
like I would say 2016, 16 to now.
One of the best, it's sad to say, but I don't listen to a lot of female hip hop artists. So
I'm about to get flamed in the comments. But that's
fine. That's fine. There's things that I will always stand on. I think there's a lot of good female hip hop artists, but for the most part, men run that game. There might be good female comedians. I don't really know of any, but men run that game. However, on the flip side, there's other things that men have tried their hands in that I just don't want to hear. I prefer the females. So, it's just one of those things. I guess she might be one of the best, but I don't know what to categorize as best because she's not good, man. I can't say it. I can't. I don't know what one of the.
I will argue that literally listen to the music that comes out from her. Not everything I super love, but like especially from a DJ aspect, I'm able to play her records and it works. And to me,
so you're talking about the entertainment aspect, not the artistry.
I'm not saying that she's the most lyrical. I wouldn't put her in the category of a Missy or like even a Lil' Kim, because I think they're closer in their realm. But I feel like Lil' Kim also had to be
Kim could rap though.
But yeah, Kim in that space had to be Kim amongst all the dudes, whereas there's a little bit more of a space for, like, there was always one out of the crew. There was never very few independent female rappers in the 90s, if you think about it. That's why if you look at like the Missies, it was like Missy and Timbaland and them, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, Murder Inc., Charlie Baltimore. It's like there was always the one, I guess the only other person I'll put in that category on their own was like Foxy Brown, but then Foxy Brown was kind of a little bit Rockefeller, a little bit Bad Boy. But she was kind of independent, right? So it's a space where now there's definitely it's a little bit easier. It's like the conversation about like, Jordan versus LeBron. Like, yes, they're the two amazing players, but the league is different. It's kind of like that now to me. So I would say from this current era, I think she's one of the best. Her music actually resonates and works, and is just not annoying to me. Like, if I hear another freaking Sexy Red record, I'm gonna lose my mind because it's catchy, but it sounds unprofessional. It sounds bad. That's why it's upsetting to hear like her be compared to like a Coi Leray, who actually makes very good music. But
I'm gonna agree with you. If the bar is being set to Sexy Red and Glorilla, then yes, I'm gonna say that Meg is actually one of quote unquote the best. But
you didn't need to quote unquote.
The reason why I'm saying quote is because it's like, if you're gonna give me the worst of something and then say this person is the best of the worst, then yeah, I agree, because it's not really, that's just how I see it. But you cleared it up. We're not talking artistry here. We're talking about music that works in a club scene or whatever, which there's no club scene anymore, really. Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
Her music works now, and I put like her and Cardi are in the same realm. Actually, I think
I give Cardi a leg up on Meg. Meg is not messing with Cardi.
Really?
Meg we're gonna have to have a conversation. I would have to hear more of Meg Thee Stallion to say she could rap with Cardi.
I think Meg actually can rap, bro. Like,
you might be right. It's the writing that I'm just tired of hearing raps about women twerking and the D and the where's the range? The range does not exist. And Cardi, I've actually heard range from. So
yes, and I give you that, because Cardi's kind of she moved herself into a space where she's, one, a household name, and two, she's able to transcend hip hop. Like, it is what it is. And even her points and stuff, like, she has so much growth as an individual that is actually very impressive. Especially knowing where she started, which was like Love and Hip Hop, to now. It's like, it's very impressive. So I give her that. But I would say from a like actual lyrical ability, I think they're both, I'll put them close to each other, if not at the same level.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to have that conversation, because Meg and Cardi is consuming the hell out of rap now.
Yeah. And honestly, it's funny because I think we need an outlet for our music conversations.
Anything that hinges on music is gonna eventually just run wild.
Every single time. But speaking about music, and I started listening to this album, and I was doing it at the wrong time. Like certain albums you need to listen to in the right space in order for it to work. Oh, man. If you're not aware, we're talking about Andre 3000's Flute album, and I started listening to it on my drive home from work.
No.
And it was the wrong place to listen to that album. Not because it wasn't interesting, because I can listen to Flute. Like, I don't listen to Flute music on the regular, but because I produce, I can listen and appreciate that and find stuff, and your brain is going on that. But I was like a couple times at the light, like, eyes closing, because it sounds like spa music and something you would just like relax to. And I'm like, I need to drive, and the people in front of me can't drive, so I need to make sure I don't get into an accident.
Bro, so I know exactly what you're thinking about, because now that I think about it, because I listened to some of it as well, and now that I think about it, this music is the kind of music that you listen to when you're in Kyoto, Japan, or Nagano, Japan, and you're up in the mountains in the hot springs wearing one of those sumo diapers, just like cupping warm water to yourself, and you're listening to ancient flutes from Andre 3000. That's what I'm saying. That's what that music is. I attempted to listen to it. I wouldn't say I was in the wrong environment. I just was caught way off guard. You know, it's like, even though they said it was a flute album, windpipe album, whatever you want to call it, I turned it on with the expectation that there would be some flutes and maybe some actual beats behind these flutes. So I expected some kind of hip hop, but when I heard nothing but just atmosphere and flute, I was disappointed, but I did put it on at night when I was laying in bed, so it was the right setting for it. It's just, you fall asleep. I don't know who's able to listen to 87 minutes. If I'm not mistaken, the album clocks in at 87 minutes. Who's able to listen to 87 minutes of just straight up somebody blowing on some wooden instrument? That's crazy.
Yo, listen, I want to say for the record, I applaud them for taking this chance.
You applaud him. He's trolling hip hop, man. I don't think applaud this.
You know why I'm saying one of his biggest songs is Hey Ya.
Right.
That is not a hip hop record. One of the biggest songs on his album was Hey Ya, and people know him for that. And then we have just gotten so used to the fact that he'd come in, drop like the super fire verse, and then disappear for 6 years, right? Like, so to come out and do something that literally you kind of just like, I don't know what I actually want to do. I'm just going to do music and explore and do something different, man. Like, in this day and age, from a music standpoint, I've gotten to the point where I don't get inspiration from anything that drops, except with the exception of maybe J. Cole, because I don't know what that man is doing, but he's out there like just slaying beats one by one. And I gotta appreciate that. And I also have a bias to J. Cole because I think he's definitely one of my favorite artists, probably second to Kendrick. But outside of that, what do we listen to in music?
No, you're right.
Where is the music? So like, if this man want to come up with a Flute album, I'm gonna try to listen to it when I'm not driving after home from work. But like, I appreciate it as much as I would have preferred to get some. Honestly, I would have liked some drums. Just give me a little snare every now and again,
I agree.
But what the thing you learn about art is not restricted to anything. It's like, you know, it's the reason why we haven't got a Rihanna album forever, right? She doesn't want to do that, right? Like, and the fact that he's releasing something and still being able to release something that people are actually interested in at 48 that doesn't sound anything like anything else anybody has done. I gotta give him his props. I still would have preferred a rap album. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I would have preferred some verses from this guy, but like, I mean, kudos. You know, like, maybe we'll see more people doing things that are not the norm, because there's a lot of people that are just rinse and repeat. Like, I listened to the Rick Ross and Meek Mill's album, and I was just like, I can't listen to this anymore. At least I can listen. And I like Rick Ross, but like, I can't listen to Meek, and I don't want to hear that no more. I just don't. Whereas like, the Flute didn't turn me off. It was just the wrong time. Yeah. So I gotta change my environment. So that's my spiel. I mean, what are your thoughts?
He said the Flute didn't turn me off, but just had you shutting down that light.
I was about to fall asleep.
About to kill you.
You know what? It was relaxing me at the wrong time.
Yeah. I get it. But no, I agree with you, because we live in an age right now where music is a lot of dialing it in just so that, you know, they can make the record. Drake just took a lot of heat on For All the Dogs because of this very same thing. So now I can't sit here and then say something opposite of what everyone's been asking for. Try something new, do something different. And then when someone does try something new or do something different,
then
here we come complaining about it. But it's one of the reasons why I don't think Kanye, well, for some people like myself, I don't think Kanye ever received that that type of hate for his music where it was like, yo, he just needs to stop because he's just doing, I don't know, he's always reinvented. If it's one thing Kanye is going to do is reinvent himself every time you hear an album from him, and it's always kept things fresh. So I do agree that this is at least something to applaud because he is trying something new. And one of the things that I hate to hear is an uninspired artist putting out music just for the hell of putting out music. You can tell when an artist is inspired by the work they're putting out and when they're just phoning it in. And this clearly is what he's passionate about right now. So who knows? Maybe that he's able to actually get this off and put it out there. Maybe, just maybe, he'll get a little bit of buzz for an EP or something. You never know.
Listen,
we'll have to wait and see.
I would love if he did this like some like choose your own adventure thing where you get like a thing of only flutes, and then next year he drops one of just beats, and then the year after that he drops one of just like lyrics, and then you somehow can splice them together and hear a whole album. Like that is some next level thing. If he's thinking about that, man, he'll rock it to the top of my list of favorite artists. But realistically, I at this point I appreciate people doing different stuff, bro, and I don't feel like we have enough of that. We don't have enough of that. So
I agree.
With that being said, it's like the setting got to be correct, but I'm gonna get through it. But like, I mean, look at that. The last album they dropped was 2003, and then it's damn near 20 years later, bro.
And we get flutes from this guy.
Let me get flutes.
Hopefully one day he says, hey, I have a passion for flutes, but I also do want to provide some fan service. Let me combine the flutes with my ability to rap, and maybe we'll get something. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Until then, it's straight up Ocarina of Time status. Just flute music, man.
Hey, all day. So that was a lot lighter than a lot of the other things that we had.
You didn't rape the flute.
Yeah, for real. Thank God. Well, last thing we had talked about was the OpenAI firing Sam Altman, but it sounds like he has his job back.
Did he really? Did he get the job back?
Yeah, it sounded like they got it back.
Okay, well, that's a good thing because, I mean, it wasn't sounding like it was going to be good if they had stuck with what they had originally done by getting him out of there and allowing Microsoft to step in and look like they were going to become the kings of AI, even though they kind of already are since they have such a large market share in OpenAI. But if he's back at the helm, then that's awesome. It is nice to hear these corporate tussles take place, though.
It is interesting, yeah. I'd be very upset, though, if you try to fire me from my company and then I'm about to get a job at Microsoft and you're like, oh, no, I'm going to take you back. I'm not, because think about it. If he had gone to Microsoft, including the, 700 people that wanted to go with him?
Yeah.
What was the future of OpenAI? That was
it's going to come crumbling down. And then the guy they were hiring was like the CEO of Twitch. What does that guy know about AI? Like, get him out of here.
Hey, listen, man.
They've gone through a lot of transitions. At one point, Elon Musk was even there, and he left.
I didn't know that. Know that. Like that, they started that together as like a nonprofit or whatever. But
that's where the open part came from.
But this is the struggle everybody has when you're trying to go from like being, like nonprofit, to to being a thing. So
yeah. Absolutely. But, I guess congrats to him back at at OpenAI. Continue to do the work that they're doing to destroy society as we know it.
Or save it. You never know. I mean,
I highly doubt that. I think AI is going to be one of those things, just like how we see all of this this cycle downward. I think that's one of the things that are going to come in and
cycle
help.
Downward?
Yeah, personally, and this is probably a bigger discussion for another time, but I feel like society as a whole is on this downward spiral, and I think AI is only going to lend to that.
Interesting.
Because AI is not going to do more for human beings. It's going to take away from human beings. And when you develop technology that is going to rob people of purpose, what do you think is going to happen? That's going to lead to societal decay. I'm telling you right now, people who might have been able to get a job that can't get a job, what do you think is going to happen when they need to feed their family, but their jobs, the field that they were good at is no longer in existence because AI came and chewed it up. I'm telling you, society is on a downward spiral, and AI is going to help with that spiral.
Yeah, I could see that, and I get where you're coming from, but I feel like some of that stuff is just the future, like us moving further in the future. Like, think about the fact that there was, there used to be elevator operators, right? Like, there used to be jobs where you literally had to manually operate the elevator. Now, when the last time you see like even somebody on the elevator with you, it's like it's not a thing anymore. So.
Yeah, it isn't. And maybe, I hate to use this term, empath, but maybe I'm too much of an empath because I don't see people being removed from positions of purpose as a good thing. I will never see, like, when they got rid of cashiers, even though it might be cool and you might prefer going to the self-check aisle and everything, I don't see removing jobs as a good thing. People make money to help continue fuel society. It's how people are able to build families. It's how we bring new people onto this earth that eventually become innovators and they build and lend to society. If we keep developing technology that just makes our hands and our brains less and less and less needed, eventually we're going to hit a tipping point. I don't know what that tipping point is, but I find it to be extremely saddening that everything we do in society today it's just about feeding the pockets of the people at the top. And that's all that AI is going to do. It's not going to do anything for you and I. Okay, it might make things a little easier for us. I might not have to get up to go turn a light on, or I might not have to go do XYZ at my job because the AI is going to automate it, or even what we do here. There's a lot of things that we had to build real skills to be able to do. AI might be able to do it in 10 seconds, but as that happens more and more, that just invalidates us more and more. And when we get to the point where we're completely invalidated, because let's be honest, if everyone can do what we're doing because they have AI, what makes us so special? At some point or another, I just don't see how this is going to help society. All I see it doing is really just lining the pockets of the people at the top. So, yeah, Sam Altman, do your thing. OpenAI, let's get it going. I'll probably be dead and gone by the time all of that happens, but I don't see it as a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a full long conversation about this. Maybe we'll link it in the description and juxtapose about like AI.
For sure.
I just think that there is with everything, there's a potential of being able to do more and do better. And there's a point, right? There's a tipping point where that is probably like, why do you even need these personalities? But I don't know. I mean, maybe we have a Wall-E future ahead of us, and
I have to watch that movie again because everyone keeps talking about it, and I remember watching it, but every single thing I remember about it, I think I forgot.
Yeah, so it's literally it's there, but I mean, it's there. There are definitely times where I feel like having the access to some of those tools allows me to do things that would take me a lot longer to do.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So I can't see myself not partaking, even though I'm probably feeding the thing that will destroy me later.
Yeah, and it's all well and good. I just feel like it's all to feed the greater gods. That's the part that bothers me.
Yeah. No, and I feel that. Well, what better time to bring this to an end? This is, I think, actually, I don't remember how we're going to do this, but I'm pretty sure this is like one of our last wraps for the year, clearly, because like this is for November. There's one in December, but I don't remember if December we're going to do the wrap up of the whole year, or does that come out in January? Either way, this might be the last time you see us this way for this year. And if it is, we appreciate you. If it's not, we still appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. But you could be a lot of other places. We appreciate you taking the time with us, listen to us talk about some interesting things.
Some of the biggest news this month, we appreciate that. And it's been a hell of a 2024. I mean, I know that it's coming to the end of the year when I get my Spotify wrapped. So, yeah, thank you guys for sitting through, I guess at this point, 11 whole months moving into our 12th month. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man, this is big for us. I mean, we had an idea to do this. We did a one episode for the end of 2022, and then we're like, screw it, we're just gonna make it a real thing, and here we are. So more things to come as we go into the next year. So appreciate you. If you made it this far, appreciate you even more. That's about it. It's been wrapped for November.
That's it.
Peace.
Salute.